Hey there, my name is David Bowles, and I want to talk to you about pre-invasion Nahuas and the Gulf of Mexico. So you may have seen a meme suggesting that we start calling the Gulf of Mexico Chalchiuhtlicueyecatl, as that is purportedly what indigenous peoples of the area called it. The problem is that this meme is not entirely correct. Okay? Let me explain here. In reality, the Nahua peoples who spoke of Chalchiuhtlicueyecatl didn't use that name for what's now the Gulf of Mexico. Instead, the word means the fresh water of Chalchiuhtlicue, the goddess, and it refers to her mansion in the midst of the cosmic sea to the east of the sea-ringed world. Let me go into more detail. For the Nahuas, before the Spanish invasion, as for most indigenous peoples on this continent, the Americas were the entire world. And in Nahuatl, the language of the Mexica, the Tlaxcalteca, and a whole bunch of other pre-Spanish invasion Nahuas, of course, it's still spoken today, but specifically for them, the the word that was used was Semanahuac, which I translate as the sea-ringed world, but which literally means everything beside the waters. Now, before the Spanish invasion, to their minds, there was only one sea, not two. The only ocean was the cosmic one, at the center of which floated the sea-ringed world built upon the back of the earth deity once known as Cipactli, a great cosmic leviathan that had been conquered by Quetzalcoatl and his brother Tezcatlipoca. The Nahuas called that single unending sea Teoatl, which means wondrous or divine water. A synonym for it, or another epithet, was Ilwikaatl, which means heaven or sky water. And the pre-invasion Nahuas could specify the bit of Teoatl visible at a particular direction. So to differentiate between the Pacific and the Atlantic or the Gulf, for example, they might say in Tlahuilcopa Teoatl, the eastern part of the ocean or the eastern edge of the unending cosmic sea. After the Spanish invasion, it became more common to say Inweyi Atl, the great water, to refer to the ocean, especially the Atlantic, that the Spanish crossed to come to Mesoamerica. Now, once they began, the Spanish, to call that part of the Atlantic closest to Mesoamerica El Golfo de Mexico, which they derived from the kingdom of the Mexica, which was known as Mexico, the source of the word Mexico, Mexico. It was possible then to refer to that body of water in Nahuatl as Ayoloco Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico, literally. And I have an article on the importance of Mexico in that label that if you want to, you can read. I probably will record a video of it as well later on. In the midst of this Ayoloco Mexico lived this deity, Chalchiuhtlicue, and her name means her skirt is jade because Chalchiuhtli means jade and Ique means her skirt. Kue means skirt and E is her. Um, she is a companion to Tlaloc, who was the god of rain, and she was associated mostly with fresh water, irrigation, the baptism of babies. Yes, this is pre-European invasion baptism. It did exist among indigenous peoples. When she ruled over the fourth age of the world, she was tormented by Tezcatlipoca, and her tears flooded the world, ending almost all life. Here's an image of her from the Codex Borbonicus, and you can see that she's mostly blue and green, colors of water and so forth. Clearly depicted as an indigenous woman with darker skin, and from this throne that she's sitting upon flow the waters of the world, especially the fresh waters. And you can see a child and an adult, and a shield all caught up in the water. So the Nahuas, when they spoke of lakes and rivers, said, Kain iashka, ka I techkisa in teotl in itoka Chalchiuhtlicuey. These are the property of, they flow from the divinity named Chalchiuhtlicuey. And you can see that literally it can be written as two separate words. Chalchiuhtli, jade, ique, her skirt. She was also quite connected to the ocean. Her many epithets include Akwekueyotl, which means the great wave, Atweek, which means forever back and forth, kind of means without any particular destination, just moving back and forth. And you have Atlakamani, which means whirlpool, and then the great Shishikipiliwi, which means she swells, like the swelling of waves and all this very rhythmic stuff. Someone has suggested in the comments to this article that it seems like she's kind of like the heartbeat of the waters of the world, and that's just a great way of thinking of it. I love that so much. The Tlaxcalteca, who were the great enemies of the Mexica, called her Matlalcueye, the green-skirted one, which was also the name of a mountain that loomed over their main city-state. Among those highlanders, Tlaxcalteca, living in the highlands to the east of Anahuac, where the Mexica ruled, the goddess was called upon to bring rain. They considered her to be one of the supernatural mountain guardians that were worshipped during the month of Atemolisli, the coming down of the rain. It's water. Temo, coming down. To ensure the coming of rains. To the beat of sacred music, families would prepare cookies of amaranth dough shaped like her before making their plea for her intercession. Now, I'm sharing all of this not to shame anybody who's like putting that meme out there or sharing it or whatever, but just to clarify that while I wouldn't mind calling the Gulf of Mexico the House of Chalchiuhtlicue, it is a bit of a stretch to claim that the indigenous peoples of North America ever really thought of that as the name of that particular body of water. But I do really prefer Ayoloco Mexico just because it emphasizes the uh, the rootedness in geography and in the history of people of that region, Gulf of Mexico. But anyway, now you know, and hopefully you find that kind of interesting.